Good morning, guys. Still just running around in my brunt work boots. Anyways, welcome back to another video, guys. So what we're going to be working on today is trenching out our main trench to bring our water line, our electrical service, some data conduits, and a 2-inch PVC pipe that I'm going to be connecting to the other 12,000 gallon Aquamate water tank. But I'll show you what I got going on in the trench there in a second. But one important point that I want to harp on. So the HVAC contractor, agreement's been signed, deposit down, so everything's good to go with that. And one thing that they did mention to me when we were laying out the system and just figuring out a good game plan for everything is they asked me to not do any of the plumbing work yet. So when you do an interior rough-in on a new residential construction home, you typically go in a certain order of operation. So you start with all the HVAC equipment, so that's all the ductwork and any components and air handlers and stuff like that are installed first. Then you go in, you do your drain pipes, you run your water supply lines. After that, you would do the electrical rough-in, so running all of your wires, mounting all of your lights, all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing that you would do would be all of your low voltage stuff. So any network cables, speaker wires, phone wires. I don't know if people still put phone wires in their homes. When I used to do residential rough-ins, and this was when I was 23, 24 years old. I'm 34 years old now. We used to run telephone wire to the bedrooms. We'd run one to the kitchen. And yeah, that's how we used to do things, you know, over a decade ago. I don't know if people are still doing it nowadays, because everybody's got a cell phone. Who actually has a landline nowadays? So doing trench work and digging underground, obviously you want to make sure that you're not going to be digging into anything. I know where all the pipes are around the house. So where I get to a point where I've got to cross over where a pipe is, I'll get close enough with the backhoe and then I'll dig the rest of it out by hand, just so I don't come anywhere close to hitting some of our drain pipes that are going down to our septic system. But when you're doing trenching, you definitely want to focus on making sure that everything that needs to be in that trench, whether it needs to be in the trench immediately right now, like the electrical service, the water lines, stuff like that, and anything that you may need maybe 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, and maybe a year or 2 years down the road. If you can get everything in the trench and get everything prepped and ready, it makes things a lot easier when you only have to dig a trench once. That's obviously just an efficiency thing. So if you can kind of visualize and kind of plan things in advance where you want things, then you can run any conduits, any pipes, or any wires underground. And that's one reason why doing that 3D model that I built, since I got a good layout of everything that's going to be going around the exterior of the house, I can really plan everything that we need in that trench. Now, I know where my water tank is going to go, so we're going to be installing another 12,000 gallon Aquamate water tank that's going to capture water from the roof of the house. I can get all those pipes underground where the downspouts are going to connect to it and run those pipes and get it prepped and ready to where the tank is going to go. So I can get all that stuff in underground, get it closed up, then I know I'm not going to have to open this trench up or have to dig in another spot maybe close to that trench to get things in the ground that I need in the ground. So I've got a little bit of a mess going on in here. We've got our main 2-inch conduit there that will be for the electrical service coming from the panel. Now we are going to be doing grid tied solar, and I'll talk about the reasons why in another video, but we do have grid power connected to that. I've got two 1-inch conduits right there. And those are trenched underground and they come up right to here. And the reason for these conduits going into the garage is if I ever want to run any low voltage or network cable into the garage to get Wi-Fi up here or something like that, and then I can do so very easily. Why do I have two instead of one? Well, if I fill one up, I still got another one there that I can get stuff into the building. This white 2-inch PVC pipe, it runs underground and it comes up over to our 28,000 gallon water tank. So its purpose, it will allow me to transfer water from where the other water tank is. So the other water tank is going to go at the front corner of the building right there. So what that's going to allow me to do, since this water tank is our main water supply, if this tank ever gets empty throughout the year, I'll have water in this tank and then I can easily transfer it just with a pump to the exterior of the tank and pump this water up. So that's the game plan and things that I can start working on right now. Once I get my conduit run, we can purchase our main electrical service wire. I've obviously got a water pipe in there, so we can start to run water into the mechanical room and start with some of the plumbing in there, because that's not going to get in the way of the HVAC contractors. There's other things that I can do inside the house, but I'd rather just kind of get this done since there's nobody working out here right now except for myself. So I can open up the trench, get everything in there that I want, close it up, and then we're done and dusted with any underground trench work. And last night we greased up the tractor there, so it is all set. Whenever I do any major tractor work, you know, you got to give the tractor a little bit of TLC, greasing all the joints and all that kind of stuff, and just making sure it's going to run tits perfect. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, guys, so we got most of the tractor work done. Now I'm gonna be running a 2-inch rigid conduit going up the side of the building here, and then it's going to use an LB to go inside to the back of the panel. Now, when I'm running pipe and stuff on a finished wall like this, what I like to do is use Unistrut. So I use Unistrut all over the place because it is a great way to clamp things. It's very strong. Aesthetically, I like the look of it. As a former electrician, we used it all the time on stuff. So it's definitely one of my favorite materials to use. So Unistrut, the deep strut, it will offset the back of the pipe, which the back of the pipe, I'm referring to the portion of the pipe that will be closest to the wall. The back of the pipe, it'll stand it off 1 5/8 inches. 1 5/8 inches comes right to about here. And you can see a bit of concrete here, and there's more concrete down here. And what that is from when they poured the footers on this mechanical room, right where the concrete formwork will meet where ground level is, you get a little bit of spillage kind of going out this way with the concrete. So I can't really get at it with a shovel, but we do have a tool that is gonna make clearing this area out much easier. Now, say I was working for an electrical contractor, what I would do if we had a good hydraulic bender is that I'd run my pipe right up here, and I'd probably do a little offset and then get my pipe up to the right level where I want it up against the wall here. Hydraulic benders are mucho dinero, and it's not something that you'd want to purchase for, you know, one bend or anything like that. You're definitely not bending 2-inch rigid by hand. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, even bending 1.25" EMT is one heck of a struggle to bend it. So 2-inch rigid, no chance that you're gonna bend it by hand. So we gotta use the hammer drill here. We gotta core it down all the way. So this, GFCI must have tripped. Of course, they always do. So we're gonna be using a Bosch Bulldog Extreme, love the name. Well, hammer drill like this. So a hammer drill like this has multiple functions. Well, let's just say 3 functions. You can have it so that it's only spinning. You can have it so that it does the hammer and it spins. And then you also just have the hammer function. So this doesn't spin, but the hammer action inside there is still going. So for something like this where we just want to chisel something away, we just want the hammer function on. We can use a bit just like this. And this is how we will, there we go. And this is how we're going to chisel that away. Other types of bits that you can get for this are definitely, you know, big bits like this here. This is a 1-inch by, I think, 16 or something like that. And that's what I'm using to drill through the ICF. So if I need to get a pipe or wire through the ICF and through the concrete, and then obviously you can get smaller ones as well. So I know where my pipes are coming up because I've already made marks on the Nichiha siding, or I've already pre-drilled holes where I'm gonna be running the conduits into the mechanical room here. So I'm just gonna make a mark on either side of it so I don't unnecessarily chip concrete I don't need to. Yeah, this bit is a little bit dull, but you can see like right here, that's concrete. So we gotta chisel this all out. I actually got a better idea here. So let's take this off and let's grind it down. That is much better. Sweet. All right, we'll time lapse this and go, bro. Alright guys, so we're just about done with the dirt work and the trenching. So just to kind of give you a quick overview of what we've done so far. So here's where the pipes are starting, next to where the pump house is and where the garage. So we come down, you can see our nice straight trench. And then we got it running all the way straight down to the back end of the building there. So we've got our first drain pipe here that we'll be able to run our conduit and pipes underneath. And then the trench just keeps going down, so let's see where we're at down there. So for our electrical conduit, we'll do 2 45s to go around this corner, and then a 45 and a 45 up. And you can see how much I had to chisel out that footing there. And yeah, we got her. So we'll be able to run our 2-inch rigid and our 1-inch rigid up here and go into the back of the panel, into the mechanical room. So we'll continue our 1-inch water line coming right down here. We'll have a T underground, and then we'll send one 1-inch pipe right into there, and that'll go right up into the mechanical room. And then off of the tee right here, we'll mount a ground box, and we'll have the 1-inch pipe with a ball valve on it. And that'll be all the water for the irrigation system that will end up in the backyard and everything out here. And something else that I can use these conduits for is I can already get our irrigation wire. We'll have our irrigation controller in the mechanical room, but I can run my wires out here and get it into the control box or the ground box with the 1-inch pipe. So I can just continue that wire and go around the yard with it. And that's how we're gonna do the irrigation system, or at least start it. If you remember that I made this 3D model, it can help us kind of lay out where we want some of our trenches for the things that we plan on putting in. So the current trench right now is kind of running this way right here, parallel to that front face of the building, or the back face. And I know that we're going to be putting our next Alchemate water tank, so it'll be 12,000 gallons, right at the front corner of the house here. So we can start to map out where that water tank is going to go, and then I can get our trenches underground because we're going to have the downspouts and the pipes underneath, obviously to fill the water tank going underground to it. And then we've got that 2-inch PVC line, and I'll probably have some kind of pump or something like that right here on the exterior of the tank. And so then I can transfer and pump water from here up to the 28,000, which is kind of like right here. All right, guys, so we've got the approximate location of where we're going to install this water tank. So the 12,000 gallon water tank that I install, it is 17'1" in diameter. So if we pick a point in the middle here and just take a stake, hammer that in, so we know the diameter of our tank is 17'1". That means that the radius would be 8'6" and 1/2 inch. So we can basically just take a paint marker here and just go around. And this is how I always lay out the tanks. So if I'm doing site prep or anything like that, I know basically where the edge of the tank is. And when we do the when I do the site prep, I build the base of the tank 3 feet or 3 feet wider. So if the diameter is 17'1", then I would do the base material for the tank, it would be at 23 feet. So there's 3 feet of just the fill material that we use around the entire tank. And we just use 1/4- fill material, so it's pretty basic stuff, but it just gives a good solid base for the tank to sit on. Now with how these tanks are designed and how you install them, is that I can put the overflow on pretty well any side that I want. I can put the basket strainer for how the water gets into the tank. I can put it anywhere around the roof that I want. And I can also cut in custom 2-inch fittings, basically anywhere around the tank. The 12,000 gallons and above tanks, they come with 2 standard fittings, but it only comes on 1 panel. So you've got a drain valve, and then you've got your kind of valve that you would draw water from. So I can put that basically on any side of the tank that I want, but I can also cut in custom fittings if I want to as well. So if we know that there's gonna be some trees, one right there, one right here, another one, we'll probably do 3 on this side, is that those underground pipes that I have coming, so the 2 4-inch pipes, which will be connected to the gutters and the downspouts, and then also that 2-inch PVC. We want to keep them away from those trees because those pipes are going to be filled with water pretty well most of the time. And depending on the type of tree, trees can want to grow their roots into a water pipe. So the further that we can keep it away from where the tree's roots are, the better. So I think running them somewhere right along this edge of the tank, and then if I want to come and have a basket strainer on this side, I can just kind of 90 it over and get the water in going that way. We'll run our line right to here. So just kind of come to this front corner, and then that gives me the option, if I want to put the basket strainer over there, I can 90 over and go over there, or if I want to put it on this side, I can do that. I got options, guys. We got options. So then we'll draw this trench line right next to the tape measure. Try to not get paint on the tape measure. Cool. With this trench here, we don't have to go nearly as deep as the other ones. With something like this, I'd probably just go maybe 12 to 18 inches deep, but now we can trench that out, connect it to this guy right here, and then we're pretty much done with digging, which is always, that's money. All right guys, so we're looking good for the dirt work there. We've got pretty well everything that we need dug out. So that means we can start running our conduits and our pipes underground there and any wires that we need to throw in the trench as well. So we'll go over that in the next video. Awesome guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next video. Talk to you soon. Peace.